Back in Korriban, where it all started for me, this is my Sith Assassin. What I thought I'd go over now is how to use the map. The map has a lot of features on it, and it can be a very frustrating map, unfortunately. The indicators on the Old Republic map are not always accurate, but I'll show you what you can do with it anyway. Now, if you, by default, press the M key, it will open the map. I have unbound my keys from my interface so that all of these buttons up at the top of the screen, which you can now see lighting up, they all open with key presses. I find it very irritating and annoying. Half the time I'm using chat and it'll open a damned window, so I've disabled them in preferences. I'm just mouse clicking things to open windows and the map. Now over on the right side of my screen I have my map, and there's a little circular icon in the lower left corner which will open the map. Down in the very bottom left corner of the map window there is a magnifying glass feature which you may or may not want to use. I don't know. I like to use it sometimes. If you click the little square next to the magnifying glass icon, you can see it light up and go dark. When it's lit up, you have the magnifying glass feature enabled. And then when you go over the map, it will enlarge an area as if it's under a magnifying glass. That's not a bad thing. Sometimes you will find areas where there's a lot of vendors near each other, and it will be very difficult to distinguish from the map when they're bunched up. You also notice something else here. When you put the magnifying glass, this is another reason I like it. When you put the magnifying glass over the map, it tends to also display some additional icons that may not be enabled in your map by default. So I'm going to go over this market area here. Alright? When I take the magnifying glass away, all you see is market, you see the road, you just see the general map details. However, when I put the magnifying glass over it, right away it shows me that there's vendors in the market area, and it shows me what they are. If I get my mouse to go over one, it tells me the name of the vendor, Harless here, and specialty goods. Next to that is Lieutenant Lilith, a social items vendor. It shows you all these things. There's an item modification station there. Shows me a mailbox. There it shows me and my companion. You don't have to use that, but I do find it useful. So I usually keep that enabled. Now on the left side is basically the map legend, as they call it, telling you what all the icons are. The purple figure of a player is a group member, someone who you would be in a group with. There's the exit icon for an elevator. Exit also tends to be entrance. And you can see that there's mission offers, that little empty triangle. The mission objective, something you have to get to, will be that same triangle with a little green triangle in the center of it. Exit with mission is the same as the exit or enter, but it will be lit up green. In the same way that you have that little green triangle in the mission objective, green tends to mean it's something that you need, something you need to do, someplace you need to go. Then there's all these little buttons in the lower part of the legend. And what these will do is enable the map to show you different locations of the map, different things you need to find. Excuse me, need a drink here. For instance, if you want to see vendors displayed on the map by default, you click on that little round button to the right of the word vendor, and they will display on the map by default. And of course they will be enlarged if you put the microphone, wonderful, the magnifying glass over them. Crew skills trainers, now there's none here. I enabled them, but they don't have any on the map that I'm currently on the area that I'm in, so they don't display. I can click that off if I want. Taxis, it will instantly display taxi points. It'll show all the available taxis. Trainers, it'll show you where skilled trainers are. Well, actually that's inside the Sith Academy. I will show you that in a little while because it's a very important thing. Quick travel points, resources, That's for crafting. It will highlight resources on the map that you can gather. Mail will highlight mailboxes, modification stations, cargo hold access. That will be after you get your ship. It will tell you if there's a location nearby where you can access your cargo hold while not on the ship. Galactic Market Kiosk, if you highlight that, it will show you where a GTN kiosk is. That's basically the store where people sell things that they craft. And I tend to keep vendors on, but it really doesn't matter. You can just do this whenever you want to see something. Just open the map. You can just click on that button. Your map will open. And now you can see where things are, whatever you want. You just make that choice in the menu, the legend menu, and it will highlight those. And by keeping that magnifying glass on, it does show a few extra things by default. Now also, something you should probably be aware of at this point when you're starting out is how to adjust things. You will have default settings when you log into the game. All the way up at the top of your screen, there's a whole bunch of little icons, little menu of icons up there. On the far right is the game menu. It looks like two little gears. So if I click that, I get another little window. The two that are the most important for me here, for us to use, are Preferences and Interface Editor. I'll go into Preferences right now. Interface Editor is its whole thing in its own, which I find very useful. And this has a few tabs. All right, so I go into the game menu, I get the options window, and I go into preferences. Here you can, I'm in sound now, you have the menu on the left. You can change music volume, you can turn it on or off, change its volume. Ambient sound volume, you can have background audio playing if you want. You can set your master volume, the volume of effects, voice volume of characters when they speak, the NPCs and cutscenes. And just click apply. I will need to relaunch to enable those. Do that. The background audio is actually what needs a restart. Combat logging, you can have this if you want to save a text file of combat damage that you do and you take. That's something you really don't have to worry about. This shows you the text that turns up on your screen. It will show you damage that you take, damage that you do, healing that you receive, all those sort of things. User interface. This will is a little counterintuitive because there are two areas to adjust this, but this kind of shows you, for instance, here's something I like to do. You can highlight triggered abilities. You can get confirmation on changing an appearance change, item claim confirmation dialog, all these little things that pop up on your screen basically in text. You can turn them on or off in here. One of my favorite things though is to have the cooldown text show. And that lets me see how many seconds I have on the cooldown to an ability. These things aren't too important at first, but I just like to show you where everything is located. Graphics, this is how you set the screen resolution, if you display shadows or if you do not display shadows, all those sort of things. Nameplates, this is how you can set if you see nameplates on enemy NPCs, friendly NPCs, if you see nameplates on your companion, if you see your nameplate on yourself, if you see nameplates on friendly players, all these sort of things. All these sort of things are found in the nameplates tab. Social can be quite important under preferences. I always do this, allow access to same class personal phases. That way, if, let's say you're a Sith Marauder, it's a very popular class, and you have another Sith Marauder who you're playing with, a friend, you've got somebody in the guild, and you want to do your class missions, and you want to help each other. They will not allow you to go in with another Sith Marauder, another Sith Warrior, unless you have checked that button under Social. So this is something that is good to have because it makes it simply very easy to help another person, to play with another person. So let me back out of this again and show you how to get to that. That little gear icon, the game menu, go into Preferences. Under Preferences, on the Game tab here, as you can see, I'm clicking that, making that light up. I go into Social, and I enable Allow Access to Same Class Personal Phases. Generally, that's a very good thing. It causes a lot of frustration for people who don't understand why they cannot get into a game mode, a game instance with a friend. Key bindings are another thing. This you will have to go through on your own to see what you like. This is where you can set what keys make you move. As you can see, you have movement, you have interface. I've unbound all this stuff because I don't want it popping open. I don't want these windows like preferences popping open when I press keys. Your chat preferences, what buttons control chat, quick bar, targeting, camera. I have my scroll wheel, my mouse set, as you can maybe read on here, to zoom in and out. This is for Galactic Starfighter, which I don't bother with. But again, when you go to that second tab, you have Game here, which is basically how the game looks and works to you. Key bindings are basically controls, how you control the game, particularly your movement. I have my own key bindings. I really can't advise what to do for these things because I don't know how you will play. But that's where you find it under the Preferences. I go into the Game menu, Preferences, and that second tab there at the bottom, key bindings and movement. And that's about it. I'll try to keep these short. If there's anything else I'll do, this is already 12 minutes. I'll come back and do more. Well, I do have one other thing I think I should show you now that I think of it. There is a mission here I can get. And I'm going to show you what happens when you take a mission. And this will give some idea of just how screwy the map can be, maybe, as well. I've often had the map lead me in incorrect directions, and it took me a long time to find what I was looking for because it would send me into an enemy base or something where you would be basically one-shot by champion NPCs. Now here is a mission that's available to me. Let me hop off my speeder. Now if I open my map, and I put my magnifying glass over it, I can actually see that mission is available on the map. And here it is, I'm standing next to it now. So I'm going to accept this mission. I'm going to right-click on it. I'm going to accept the mission. And now on my mini-map, I already got a green arrow telling me this is the way I've got to go. So I'm going to click on the map, open the map itself, and here is another green arrow. It's showing me there's where I got to go. That's where the mission is. Now actually it's way through here. It's actually on another part of the map. It will be, you will actually appear off the map if you go to do this. But that's basically how it works. Any mission that you have, I will show you the mission tracker here. It shows me that I'm tracking the mission. Now I can untrack. There's a button in the lower right. And it will hide that mission on the map. That little green button, little green arrow is now gone from my mini-map and is no longer visible on the main map either. But if I go back to my mission log, which is this little button up here, looks just like the mission giver icon you see in the world. It's that same little triangle icon up on your menu on the top of the screen. Now I look, I know what it is, I'm Korriban, I clicked the track button again, and it lit up on the mini-map immediately. And now if I open my map again, there it is. I've got that little green arrow once again showing me that's where I've got to go. Alright, I will cut this video short. It's already 15 minutes, and I'll get into some other aspects.